I'm so ready for this to crash. Hi, everybody! It's Wednesday, so you know what that means. It's time to fuck around with Ichika and everyone else. Okay. We'll just get into this.
My boobs are itchy.
Yeah, my boobs are itchy. I brought you an entire pizza. I don't want to hear your shit right now. Mew Iruma.
Monokuma's going over there!
Now you want to move? You fucker! Before I turned this on, I was like, are you going to stay here? And you're like, maybe. I might stay over here this time. Now you want to fucking move. You little shit.
I changed my mind.
God.
Oh god.
I'm taking away your woman's right to choose.
No.
What did she say today? You're like, just shows up to see your classes, you're fired.
Just turns around, hey, I'm coming to see your class.
Yeah, I'm coming to watch it.
Oh god.
Alright. Alright, let's go. So, how did today go?
Good.
Ichika, who had been waiting all day in the room, asked me. Alright. I guess we can actually tell her details this time.
今日も A グループからかな
Can't fit anymore.
Where are you gonna go? Just tape her. We have tape. Tape. Today I started from A group.
何か変わったことはあった？
So, did anything change with them?
ほとんど何もただ信用は得られたかもしれない
Not really. But I think I was able to get them to trust me.
イスルギ道宗も？
Even Isurugi Michimune?
まだ完全には信用されていないけど先輩って呼ばれてるよ
Well, he doesn't completely trust me yet, but he called me senpai.
いい子だね。
Oh, what a great kid. I didn't feel the same way. I would make him pay for his crime. If all of them had died, then that time...
次は？
Well, who's next? Or what was next?
B グループだねいくつか分かったことがある
Next up was B group. I learned a lot of things about them.
重要なこと？
Anything important?
いすみ白秋に二人きりで会いたいと言われた
Isumi Hakushu told me that he wanted to meet up, just the two of us. Woohoo, saucy! Yeah, look at her, she's all jealous now.
内容は双子に聞かれたくないこと
Apparently, he didn't want the twins overhearing what he had to say.
ということは双子はその場にいなかったの？その時は話してくれなかったの？
So, what you're telling me is that the twins weren't there? And he didn't just tell you at that point?
少しの時間彼が双子と離れるようにしただけだから最後まで話せなかったんだ
Well, I mean, he only sent the twins away for a very short time, so we weren't able to talk in the end.
わざわざ働きかけないと一人になれないくらいいつも一緒にいるの？
Does that mean that unless he actually goes out of his way to separate himself from them, he's always with them?
ちょっと異常に見えるくらいにね彼は双子が二人きりにさせたくないからだと言ってたよ
Yeah, seems like that's the case. A little bit more than usual. It's a little weird, honestly. He said it's because the two of them don't... He said it's because they don't want to leave the two of us together.
要と二人きりに？
The two of you meaning you and him?
いや違うねあの口ぶりだともう片方の双子と
No, not quite. Basically what he was saying was they don't want to leave him alone with the other twin.
双子が彼のことを好きなら不自然じゃないけど。
Well, I don't think it's all that odd for those twins to like him, but...
二人きりで会って話をすることに対して損はさせないとも言ってた。
About the two of us talking together. He said not to, I'm thinking about how to phrase this. He said not to worry about it, not to go out of my way.
これ以上はその機会が来ないとわからないね。
More than that? Or anything beyond that? I guess I don't know when we'll get another chance.
それでアヤライズキとの取引は？
Oh, okay, well, how about your deal with Ayari Izuki?
ダメだった。でも大丈夫。次は必ず俺に情報を渡してくるはずだ。
Was no good, but it's alright. Next time, he's definitely going to give me the info I want.
素直に言うことを聞いてくれるようには見えないけど、どういう人なの？
Well, I mean, he didn't look like he was just gonna obediently tell you what you wanted to know, but what is he like?
ただの臆病者だよ。
He's just some coward.
だからこそ信用できる。
Well, you say that about him. Can you really trust him?
向こうの欲しいものを与えられる限りは信用できる。
As long as I have something to give him that he wants, I can rely on him.
そういう人なんだね。
Oh, so that's what he's like, huh?
最後は昨日会えなかったユリザのしおり。
Ah, and then I also ran into Yurizono Shihori, who I didn't get to see yesterday.
何にも興味がないようなふりをしてる人だね。
Oh, that's the chick who acts like she doesn't care about anything, right?
ふりならよかったんだけど。
If only she were pretending.
あれで本音なの？
Wait, is she serious about this?
嘘はついてなかった。選挙に興味もなくて生きることに執着もしていないみたいだった。
She wasn't lying. I mean, she doesn't seem to have any interest in the election, and it doesn't seem like she's really clinging to the idea of living that much either.
そんな人がいるの？
Wait, are there actually people like that?
理解はできないけど嘘はなかった。
I can't understand it, but it wasn't a lie.
あと気になったのは俺の嘘を見破られたかもしれない。そのことについて何も言ってはこなかったし確信はないけど。
The other thing that really stood out to me about her was that it seemed as though she might have seen through my lie. She didn't actually say anything about that though, so I wasn't able to confirm.
次に会うのが難しくなった？
So, does that mean it's going to be harder for you to meet with her in the future?
いやまた来るって言ったら待ってるって言われたよ。
No, when I said I might see her again, she said she'd be waiting.
こんなところかな。
Well, this must be it, huh?
お疲れ様、かなめ。
You did some great work today, Kaname.
いちかも疲れただろ。俺も戻るから今日はもう休もう。
Oh, you did quite a bit of work today yourself, Ichika. I'm about to go back to my room, so let's take a break for today.
そうだね。
Let's do it! My hands smell like pizza. Ah, finally! Day of the election! Jesus. Finally, the day has come. Today, somebody was gonna die. Alright. And that somebody might very well be me. Yet, I didn't feel any sense of strangeness, or for some strange reason, I didn't feel any sense of fear. The only thing I could feel... Okay. It could be that I was, my own feelings were just paralyzed.
要、そろそろ時間だよ。
It's just about time, Kaname.
行こう。イチカ。ノリ。
Let's go, Ichika. Nori. This is the first election. Oh my god. I was at work today. I was taking notes about this thing that we have. And I wrote Saisho in my notes. And my, like, boss flipped the hell out and was like, oh my god, you can write kanji? And I was just like, I've been living here for, like, several years now. Alright, let's go to the room and do a thing! I want to make a note here. So, I'm not going to try and translate everything during the actual election because I have to actually, you know, play it. Which means I'm probably going to have to add subtitles, which is a pain in the ass, which Australia can attest to because he was here last time I had to subtitle shit. It's kind of a pain in the ass, which is why this particular video might end up being a little bit late. But we'll see. Alright then, everybody who's here. You know what, I'm gonna save right here. As soon as everyone was gathered, Alice appeared in the middle of the room and spoke.
お待ちかねの選挙の時間です。
It's time for the long-awaited election. Nobody besides me had been waiting for this. But the election was about to begin.
早速だけど、所定のベッドの中に入ってもらおうかな。
Well, I want to get this started as soon as possible, so why don't you go over and head into your assigned bed, please? Pushing back my nervousness and unease, I headed over to my assigned bed.
要。
Oh my god, get out of my face. Kaname.
大丈夫。行こう。
It's okay. Let's go.
それじゃあ始めようか。
Oh my god, now you're in my face. Alright then, let's get this party started! Oh, that's good. I finally got to the first exile election.
It's only been how many weeks now?
God, this game is so slow. Alright. Oh no, I'm late for my club activities.
早く帰らないと兄さんが心配しちゃう。
If I don't get home soon, my big brother will worry.
おい、久しぶりだな、イチカ。
Hey, it's been a while, hasn't it, Ichika?
あなたは
You're...
妹が、イチカが殺された。ですって。
You say my younger sister, Ichika, was killed?
残念ですが
I regret to inform you.
犯人は
Who was the criminal? Or who was the culprit?
目下捜査中です。
Well, at the moment, we're currently investigating that.
あいつだ。 伊月に決まっています。
Had to be that guy. It had to be Izuki.
前から妹にしつこくつきまとってた男です。あいつを調べてください。
Ah, he's that guy who's been following my younger sister around. You have to look into this.
伊月、もしやあの代議士のご子息の。
Oh dear, my phone is at 5%. This is good. This is good. This is good news, everybody. My phone's dying. Okay. That was not the word I would have chosen, but sure. Okay. Yuzuki, don't you mean the son of that politician?
そうです。
Yes!
くそ。警察はちっとも動いてくれない。
Shit! If only the police had been a little bit more on top of things.
父親が偉い政治家だからって犯罪者を見逃す気なのか。
Do they plan to overlook this crime because his father is a politician?
いちか、
Oh, Ichika.
これじゃ死んだ妹が浮かばれない。
If this stays the case, my poor, dearly departed sister will never move on to the next world.
そうだよ。このまま許されるわけがない。
That's right. I won't be able to forgive this.
警察が何もしてくれないなら僕の手で奴を。
If the police won't do anything to help me, then I'll do it with my own hands. Thank you. I fucking hate this motorcycle gang because now they drive by my house too. Now that I've moved, they drive by me. And I just, it's always like after I go to bed and I'm kick everybody's face in. Anyway, I also find it funny that Yuri Zono ended up being the cop in this scenario. Theme! Alright. Will he find his revenge, or won't he? On that day, his precious younger sister, okay. On that fateful day, his precious younger sister was senselessly slaughtered. The older brother was able to figure out who the culprit was, and even though he accused him, no one ever prosecuted the crime. Even though he had brought about the death of I'm trying to think of it. Brought about the death of his upstanding younger sister. This horrible evil criminal was not persecuted by the state and was able to just continue living. In order to right this horrible wrong, the brother solidified his determination. He would make the criminal pay for his crimes by his own hand. Okay. And then his suffering heart. And then to bring the suffering in his heart to an end, he had to plan the complete... Yeah. He came up with the perfect murder plot. do you think that this person, do you think that this person is justified in seeking revenge or not?
そうして白秋君は自らの手で犯人を裁くことを誓った。
Hakushu-kun has sworn that he will kill the culprit with his own hand. Or I guess bring the culprit to justice with his own hand.
男の言動を調査するとともに、その罪にふさわしい罰について思案したんだ。
While keeping track of the comings and goings of the man in question, he came up with a punishment befitting the crime.
その果てについに完成させた。完璧で残酷な殺人計画をね。
And then he finally was able to go through with it. He perfectly pulled off his cruel murder plot.
これは紛れもなく最愛の妹を殺された兄の復讐の物語。
And this is the story of the older brother seeking revenge for his beloved younger sister.
そこで君たちに尋ねたい。
So, I'd like to ask all of you,
この復讐計画は実行されるべきか否か。君たちはどう思う？
so, do you think he should actually go through with his revenge or not?
僕は復讐を肯定します。
Interesting. Okay, so, listen to me. I believe he should go through with the revenge.
理不尽な仕打ちをそのままにしてはおけません。
I don't think he should let this kind of senseless thing go by.
愛する人を殺された悲しみは罪人の死によって償われるべきです。
In order to ease the pain of losing someone that they love, or losing the someone that they love to murder, then the person who committed that murder should also pay with their life.
俺は復讐を否定します。
This is gonna be awkward for you. I do not agree that he should go through with his revenge.
怒りや憎しみに走れば結果的に多くの不幸が生まれます。
If he lets himself be ruled by anger and hate, then in the end, he'll find nothing but unfortunate circumstances.
感情任せの殺人ではなく、より理性的な対処を模索していくべきです。
This isn't a time for him to leave everything to his emotions. Instead, he should be leaving things to. Instead, this is a time for him to use reason. Yeah, I'm gonna save here. I can't save in the middle of the fucking discussion. Alright. Let's save. I feel like not a mommy has just made this really easy on me. Easy. Gotcha. Okay. Right. Okay. Right. Right. Yeah.
ふーん、イーブンか。このメンバーだからてっきり復讐派が優勢だと思ったんだけどね。
Oh, it looks like it's even, huh? And it seems that among all of these members, there's definitely a split between the people who think that revenge is okay and the people who don't.
さて、それでは皆様、活発な議論をぜひお願いします。
Alright then everybody, let's do our best. Please do your best in order to have a fulfilling argument. Or debate. Phase 1.
話し合うまでもない気がしますが、愛する人が無残に殺されたんです。その罪を償わせることに何の異論があるんでしょう。
So what do I have to actually do for this? I think I this here. Check. Stop. Yes. Sight.
陰謀で殺された父の死、その仇を討つことに正義を感じるからでしょうね。はい、刑罰の考え方に応法的正義というものが存在します。簡単に言えば、犯罪者には相応の罰を与えることで悪事を正すということです。
It's almost like that's antiquated.
はい、それでこそ公平性が保たれます。
ですがその罰を下すのは法、いわゆる国家ですよね。
だからこそ真実を知る者が間違いを正すんです。そして被害者と兄弟の間柄にある彼には資格がある。だからこそこの報復には確かな正義がありますよ。
Fucking not even tried.
目には目を、歯には歯をですが、加害者には被害者と同じ痛みを与えるべきなんです。
Oh, okay. Right. Okay. Solid strategy.
死の対価は死。老害報復は原始的ですが妥当性があります。だから彼の復讐はなされて当然なんです。むしろそうしなければならない。でなければ彼の魂は永久に救われないでしょう。
それはご自身の経験から来る意見ですか？強く断言したのが気になったもので。
いえ、あくまでも一般論です。僕自身は復讐なんて考えたこともありません。
確かに。
話は分かりました。報復による公平性の回復、確かに筋は通っています。むしろその報復権を国家に移譲したのが今の法治体制ですから。
ああ、そうですね。
間違ってはいませんからね。
Shut up, I'm trying to avenge you.
残酷な言い方になりますが、一度手を血に染めた者は他の人とは何かが違ってしまう。決定的にだからこそ世の中のためにも排除するしかないんです。こちらの意見は以上になります。何かありますか？
その
だからこそ世の中のためにも排除するしかないんです。こちらの意見は以上になります。何かありますか？
I don't quite follow their logic at this point, but
だからこそ世の中のためにも
警察も完璧じゃありません。全ての犯罪者を捕まえることはできない。
ええ、だから悪が見逃されている。犯罪の検挙率の 100% に達することはない。だから真実を知り、その資格を持つ者が悪を排除するんです。それが町に平穏を招くことにもなるはずだ。
それは確かに。
oh, I see.
一条さん、
Okay,
あなただったんですね。
gotcha. I have to press a button to actually choose it, so I was right the first time. Alright.
話すことはないということですか？
Oh, Ichijo-san, that's you, isn't it? Are you going to say that we've never spoken?
そりゃそうだよ。なんて言ったって要くんの望みは白秋くんと同じだったんだから。
That's certainly true. Because basically, what Kaname-kun is looking for is exactly what you're looking for, Hakushu-kun.
僕と同じ？それって復讐ということですか？
Same as me? In other words, he's looking for revenge?
そういうこと。
Exactly.
アリス勝手に話すな
Alice! Stop just saying things without my permission!
別にいいじゃないか。これから追放される君にはどうでもいいことでしょ。
Who cares? It's not like it really matters since you're about to be exiled anyway.
もういいさっさと追放しろ
I don't care. Hurry up and exile me.
そうだったのか。復讐か。
So that's what it was, huh? Revenge, huh?
やっぱり勝敗の決め手はお互いの立ち位置ってところかな、白秋くん。
As I thought. The two of you, were destined to face each other. Isn't that right,
と
Hakushu-kun?
いうことは一条さんの目的は僕に復讐することだったんですか？
So what you're saying is that Ichijo-san's aim was actually to visit revenge upon me?
君にというよりは君たちにだけどね。
Not so much yous as you all.
それなのに選挙では反対の立場だったんですね。僕が勝てたのはそのせいだったのかもしれませんね。
And despite that, he went against, he voted against for the election. Well, I wonder if that's the reason that I was able to win.
やっぱりね。
Yep, just as I thought.
でも同情はしません。あなたなら僕の気持ちが理解できるんでしょ？
And yet, I can't sympathize with you. If it were me, or if it were you, I mean, I don't think you would be able to understand how I feel, right?
そうだね。
Yeah, that's true, isn't it?
僕は僕のなすべきことをします。たった今それが正しいと証明されたから。
I just have to do what's best for me. And in a moment, you'll get proof that that's actually correct.
まあ負け犬の要くんにこれ以上追い打ちをかけるのもかわいそうだからそろそろ退場してもらおうかな。
Alright, well, let's get this loser Kaname-kun out of here.
さようなら一条さん。
Goodbye, Ichijo-san.
それじゃ要くんバイバイ。
Alright then, Kaname-kun. Bye bye. Yeah. This is fun. This is actually like challenging.
さて
話し合うまでもない気がしますが、愛する人が無残に殺され陰謀で殺す。はい、簡単に言え。はい、
ですが
だからそしてだから目には加害者には被害者と同じ痛みを与えるべきなんです。
さわしき罰というものがあるんじゃないでしょうか。
ですから被害者が受けた苦痛と同じ苦痛を受ける、これがふさわしい罰と説明しようとしたんですが。
失礼しました。
加害者には被害者と同じ痛みを与えるべきなんです。死の対価は死だから出なければ。
それは強くだ。
いえ、僕自身は復讐なんて考えたこともありません。
話はむしろ間違っては。
残酷な言い方になりますが、一度手を血にだからこそ世の中のためにも排除するしかないんです。こっち何かあり
その
Oh.
一条話す。
そりゃ
僕
そう別に
もうそう
やっ
という
ぱ君やっ
でも
So weird.
僕は
ぱまあ
さような
それじゃ
Tend to think about it.
ふーんさあ
話し合う愛すい愛だ
ですが
だからそしてだから目に加害者には被害者と同じ痛みを与えるべきなんです。死のだから出なきゃ
強い
僕自身
話むしろ間違っ
残酷一度手をだからこそ世の中のためにも
罪に対してはふさわしき罰というものがあるのではないでしょうか。
どういうことでしょう。
殺人の罰のあり方というのは復讐の結果としての死だけではないはずです。更生し生きて罪を償う方法だってあるんじゃないですか。
それは犯人を生かすと言っているんですか。それに公正だなんて信じられませんね。あいつ
Go on Persona 5. Yeah.
個人的には検討する必要もない話だと思います。
なぜでしょう。むしろ最も重要視すべき点だと思いますが、それとも何か賛成できない特別な理由でも。
いえ、特別な理由なんてありませんが。
ちょっと議論が煮詰まってきた感じだから一度投票に移ろっか。
Well, it seems that the debate has kind of come to a boil. So, why don't we go ahead and have another vote?
みんなここまでの話し合いはちゃんと聞いてたよね。
Hey everybody, you've been listening to this conversation the whole time, right?
支持者が無能で愛想つかした人、 くら替えするチャンスだよ。
Alright, everybody. Alright, all you guys out there, all you just. Alright, all you supporters. These guys, these people have poured their hearts out to you. Now's your chance. Interesting.
一気に賛成派が優勢だね。よくさ、殴った手も痛いって言うけどさ。
Man, it seems like the agree party certainly is in the lead. Even though that certainly must hurt.
復讐された方もした方も痛みを共有した方が将来のためになるかもしれないね。
A hand that throws a punch also feels pain. When you try and take revenge, the person taking the revenge, as well as the person who is having revenge taken upon them, they both share the same pain in the future.
それじゃあフェーズ2の開始です。
Alright, it's time for phase 2.
こちらの意見は変わりません。この報復には確かな正義があります。そして罰に関しても道外報復には確かな正当性があり、故に死こそふさわしい。
ええ、その正当性については認めましょうが、適切ではないと考えています。理由は修復的正義です。ええ、例えば A さんの人形が壊され、その報復として犯人である B さんの人形を壊したとします。
それこそ正しい罰じゃありませんか？
ええ、ここにあるのは壊れた人形が2体だけ。これが応報的正義の結末です。そう、悲劇がさらなる悲劇を生んでいる。だが戻って人形を壊された際、 B さんが謝罪して代わりの人形を送ってきたらどうでしょう。ええ、新しい人形と B さんの壊されなかった人形、2つが存在することになる。応報的正義に対してこれを修復的正義と言います。目指すべきはより発展的な未来です。死に未来はない。
でもそれは人形だから成立する話です。妹が死んだからといって代わりの妹が来ればいい、そんなことはありえません。それでは死者も報われません。
落ち着いてください。 これは単なる例え話ですよ。その通りです。だからこそ冷静な対処が必要です。簡単に悪は殺せばいいで済ませていいはずがない。対話ですよ。言葉を交わし、まずは事実関係を明らかにしましょう。想像だけで相手を罰する、そんな軽挙に走ってはいけないんです。
知ったところで生き返ったりはしません。だからこそ話し合うことには一切価値がないんですよ。
そこにはやむにやまれぬ事情があったはずです。
たった今その意見に対する反論を述べたつもりですが、同じ言葉を再び発言しても意味はないと思いますが。だからこそ話し合うことには一切価値。
目指すべきは発展的な未来だと考えています。
発展的な未来。
はい。そのためにも被害者がどうして死んだのかを知ることは大切です。本当に理不尽な死なのか、あるいは加害者の方にも事情があったのか、その真実を明らかにすることが死者の追悼にもつながるはずです。もし情状酌量の余地があるのなら一方的な厳罰は避けるべきです。罪は罪ですが、償うチャンス、更生の可能性は与えるべきでは。
そんなのただの理想論に過ぎない。排除すべきなんですよ、悪は。
ええ、信じます。それは言い切れはしませんが、
悪いことだと本人が思っていたらですよね。ですが僕は知っている。罪だと自覚せず人の命を奪える人間がいることを誰よりもね。聞いたでしょ、今の発言。いるんですよ、この世には人の命を平然と踏みつけられる人間が。そいつらは無垢な顔をして 笑いながら人を殺すんです。ですが実際にはいるんです。
それって実体験ですか？
人から聞いた話ですよ。修復的正義、聞こえはいいですが、それじゃ誰も救えない。誰もね。
俺の意見を言う前に、あなたはどう思いますか？猫さん。はい。あなたの意見が聞きたいです。俺も同じ意見です。信じます。どんな人物でも構成できると。
そんな、ありえません。ここまで言ってもわからないんですか？
発言を撤回する気はありません。
現実が見えていないんだ。あなたたちには犯罪者はひどい目に遭うべきなんです。そうすれば誰も犯罪なんて犯そうとはしなくなるはずなんだ。
You've just been quiet for a while. I came to check on you.
Oh.
I haven't heard you speak. You haven't been using your mouthy part so much.
That's because this part doesn't stop. So.
Getting a little bit worried over here. Maybe you fell asleep. Which would have been awesome.
確かに。一条さん、あ、話す。
そりゃ
僕、
そう
はい
別に
そ
She
う
wasn't so hard to
という
read.
こと
君
Like,
やっぱ
でも、
no, like,
まあ
not in general. Like, the actual, like, text is really fucking hard to read. Because it's, like, layered over other text. It's really fucking hard to read. Which is really annoying.
I think my students also wish it wasn't really hard to read.
Yeah.
一気に三復し、それじゃあ
こちらのそして
ええ。が、 理由ええ
それ
ええそうだがなええ応報的目指すべきは
で
落ち着いてそのと簡単に対話ですよ想像
Get that away from me. It's not what I need right now. I
話し
need
合
a
うことに
fucking
一
nap.
切価値がないんですよ。
目指すべきは
はって
はいそのためには本当にその
She looks so shocked.
もし情状酌量の余地があるのか罪は
はい
ええ
それはです誰よいるんですそいつです
それ
人から中腹適正誰も
There she is.
俺の意見を言う前にあなたはどう思いますか
I could wake you up.
Thanks, Nickel-chan.
俺も同じ意見です信じますどんな人物でも構成できると
そんなここまで言ってもわからない
発言を撤回する気はあります
現実が見えていないんだあなたたちには犯罪者はひどい目に
Watch
遭う
her
べ
just
きな
like
んです
fucking
そうす
Tumblr
れば
right now.
誰も犯罪なんて
Asexual.
やむにやまれぬ事情があって犯罪を犯す
I thought that was
一
funny.
体どんな事情だと言うんです
I
か
actually didn't even
Sono
hear what
cool.
she said.
誰かのためである場合ですよ空腹の家族のためにパンを盗むいけないことですがそこには仕方のない理由がありますそういった犯罪もありいくら罰を重くしても犯罪自体は消えません
Is it Esper? Read that?
だからこそ歩み寄り対話から始めるべきです
こちらの気持ちはどうなるんですか
こちら
肉親を殺されたものですよその怒りと憎しみはどこへ向かえばいいんですかいくら納得できる理由があろうとも収まることなんてない少なくとも僕自身はそうですだからこそ復讐しか方法はないんです
そうだね。熱くなるのは大歓迎だけど、個人的な感情論に流れるとちゃんとした議論にならないし。
Yep, that's certainly right. I mean, I'm certainly happy that the debate is heating up, but if we start going a little bit too much into your own personal experiences, then we're not going to be able to have a good debate.
というわけで議論はひとまず終了。
Alright, so let's stop the debate for a second.
それじゃあ投票3回目行ってみよう。
Alright, let's have our third vote. I have no idea what you just told me.
It's over by your bed.
Okay,
It'll put a smile on your face.
I'm sure it will. Oh, fucking bitch.
.ふんふん。まだ否定派が負けてるね。このまま決着までいっちゃうかな。
Nice. Mm-hmm. Looks like the against side is still losing, huh? Ah. Well, I mean, I guess we've come to this far. Let's keep going, shall we?
サルさん、あなたに尋ねたいことがあります。そもそも復讐は本当に被害者を救うんでしょうか？
どういう意味ですか？
復讐は恨み、憎しみといった感情を含んでいます。率直に言って人を恨む姿は幸福とは程遠い。果たしてそうでしょうか。兄を復讐へと駆り立てたのは妹への愛情です。つまり彼は思いやりを持った人間なんです。そのような人物が人を殺めたとして平穏に暮らせるでしょうか。復讐の後も犯した罪に苦しむ、そんな人生が待っています。それは一般的に言って不幸だ。
不幸？それは何も知らない部外者の言い分です。なぜ分かろうとしないんです？その憎しみがいかに大きく抗えないものかをあなた方の言葉は理解できない。いや、したくもありません。してはいけない。
根拠は他にもあります。復讐の連鎖ですよ、サルさん。あなたは前の議論で目には目を、歯には歯をと言いました。
そうですが。
ですがその言葉は本来復讐を推奨するものではなく、むしろ歯止めをかけるものなんです。
歯止めをかける？
はい。怒りに駆られた人物は往々にして過剰な攻撃行動に走りやすい。それが相手側の不平感を煽り、さらなる報復を招くんです。だから同じ痛みでとどめようという意味で応答したんです。
それはただの解釈の問題ですよ。それにさらなる報復だって構いません。来ると分かっていれば自分の身ぐらい守れます。それです。
その報復は周りの人たちにも波及してしまいます。ええ、息子を殺せばそれを恨んだ父親がさらなる復讐を企てるかもしれません。本人ならね。ですが相手が兄の父や母を狙ったらどうするんです？自分の復讐のために無関係な第三者が傷ついてもいいんですか？
無関係第三者。違う。あれは事故だったんだ。僕は良かれと。だから悪くないんです。正しいはずだ。何も問題ないはずです。僕は
分かったでしょう。復讐の果てにあるのは不毛さだけです。復讐の権利があるからといってその権利を使うことが本人のためとは限りません。むしろ被害者を守るためにも復讐は認めるべきではないんです。必要なのは和解です。憎むのではなく許しましょう。殺意ではなく慈悲こそがサルさん、あなたを救う つくんですよ。
許し許せと言うんですか。この僕になんてひどい冗談だ。おかしくて気が狂いそうだよ。もう何も戻ってこない。大切な人も平穏な日常も全てなくしたんだよ。なのに君はその僕から唯一残った殺意まで奪うつもりなのかい。
Yep.
いえ、あります。賛成派の前提とは大きく矛盾する発言ですから。殺意の消化だけを目的とするなら公平性の回復という前提は崩れます。それは単なる一方的な自己満足の暴力だ。そこに正義は見出せない。
それは
Okay. Ugh.
あなたには関係ない。この議題にも関係のない話だ。
Give me like 2 seconds to answer that. My time isn't even out. Stop.
あなたには関係な
I
い。
didn't even get a chance to say
この議
anything.
題にも関係のない話だ。
God. I get like 2 seconds and I can't even read the fucking thing. Jesus.
一時話す。
それ
僕
そう
あ
別に
もうそう
やっぱ
という
君やっぱ
でも僕は
まあ
さよう
それじゃうん
そっち
What are you doing over there? What are you doing?
わかんない。
根拠復讐のレンタルさ
そう
です。
英語わかんない。
それがだから
そうだろ、英語じゃなかったの？
日本語わかんない。
来ると分かっている自分の身ぐらい
その報復は周りの人たちにも波及してしまいます。ええ、本日
無関係
Yeah. Nice. I
分
accept
かっ
your
た復
apology.
讐むしろ被害者を守るために
Jesus.
必要なの殺され
Robin might out of fucking nowhere.
もう何も戻ってなのに
Ugh.
いえ
Game,
あります
don't layer text on top of text.
殺意すれば
Really fucking annoying.
Design 101.
Well, I just mean like it's fucking ridiculous.
そうさ僕にあるのは殺したいという願望だけさ。僕から大切な人を奪ったあいつらを殺したいんだ。直接あの二人をこの手で。それさえ叶えばもうこの世にやるべきことはない。あとは静かに眠れる。あなたたちの実にいいね。殺したくて殺したくて殺したくて殺したくて殺したくてたまらなくなる。ああすごい。殺意で僕が満たされていくよ。
Somebody's gotta be a boner.
アリス
呼ばなくたってちゃんと見てたって。
Hey, come on, you don't need to call me. I've been watching this whole time.
いやー、なかなか白熱してたみたいだね。
Oh man, this whole thing is getting white hot, isn't it?
まあ結果は見えてるけど本投票やろっか。様式美って大事だし。
Alright, guys, it's time for the final. I can kind of see where this is going, so it's time for the final vote. Alright, everybody, this is the real deal, so it's definitely important.
それじゃ決着へゴー。
Alright, guys, make your decisions and go! Fucking, what's her face? Like, votes with the other side still. Misa votes for the other side. I can choose the right one really easily when I can actually have time to read them.
さてさて選挙も終わったことだし、そんな君たちにちょっとしたプレゼントだよ。
Alright then, for all of you for having finished this election, I've got a present for all of you.
正々堂々戦った二人に少しくらい会話をする時間をあげようと思ってこんな場を用意してみました。
No, give them an execution. Alright, well, for the two of you who did your best to keep all your fighting above the belt, I'm gonna give you a chance to. I'm gonna give you some time to talk to each other in this place right here.
僕の相手は一条さん、あなただったんですね。
So, my opponent, Hichijo-san, it was you, huh?
あ
Yep.
負けたよ。完璧にね。
Well, looks like I lost. Completely.
あ何か言い残すことはあるか
Is there anything else you would still like to say?
そうだね。少しだけあなたと話したいかな。
That's certainly true. I want to speak to you just for a moment or two.
同じ志を持つあなたとね。
To you, who completely understands how I feel.
気づいたのか
So you realized, huh?
最後にね。だから聞きたいんだ。僕の敗因を。
At the very end. So, I want to ask you, why did I lose?
俺は反対派に回って運が良かったかもな。
Well, I think I was just lucky to end up on the opposing side.
どういう意味かな。
What do you mean by that?
復讐の正当性なんて口にするだけ無駄だからだ。
You can't just go ahead you can't just go ahead and explain the justice of seeking revenge in words only.
他人に理解を求めた時点でお前の負けは決まっていた。
The moment you tried to get someone else to understand how you felt, that was the moment you lost.
その根拠は自分だけが分かってればいい。
And as for the proof of that, well, you know better than anyone.
そうか。それが僕の未熟さか。
I see. So I guess that was the part of me that was half-baked, huh?
ただ殺す。その目的の達成に従って憎しみすら抑えて。
Just... I'm just going to kill all of you. I heed only that which will make me reach my goal. And I'll go ahead and bear the hatred.
どうやらあなたの方がより徹底してるらしい。
Man, it seems somehow you're even more you're even more incensed than I am.
だがあなたはその唯一の目的を僕から奪った。
However, you stole my only purpose from me.
残念ながら勝者は一人しかいない。俺が勝ってお前が負けた。
Unfortunately, there can only be one winner. I won, and you lost.
だからお前は追放されて惨めに死ぬんだ。
And because of that, you'll be exiled. And you'll meet with a sad death.
それが俺の復讐だ。
And that is my revenge.
本当に容赦がないな。
You really don't have any mercy, do you?
いいよ。答えてくれたお礼に一つ見せてあげよう。
Alright then. Well, as thanks for answering me, I'm gonna show you one thing.
あなたが語った不幸な復讐者の末路をね。
I'm going to show you what you spoke about. The unfortunate end that awaits a revenge seeker.
僕は死ぬ。だからあなたに望みを託すよ。
I will die. And as a result, I will carry out your wish.
望み
My wish.
あなたの復讐は僕だけ？違うよね。さっき感じた憎しみはそれだけじゃなかった。
Is your revenge only on me? I don't think it is. I mean, that hatred that I felt before. It wasn't just that.
これから全員殺すんだよね。全員だ。あの二人も僕も。
I mean, you're gonna be killing everyone, right? Everyone. Those two, too. And me.
そうだと言ってくれ。あの二人も殺すって。
If that's the case, then you have to tell me! You're gonna kill them! So this is what Isumi Hakushu wants. Dude, did you not figure that out already? That he wants to kill the twins? But... However, I had no intention of giving him even a scrap of hope.
俺はあの二人は殺さない。
I have no plans to kill the two of them. moment, that's what I would say, even if it wasn't true.
嘘だ嘘だ嘘だ嘘だ
You're lying! You're lying! You're lying! You're lying!
彼は嘘つきだ全員殺すんだ全員死ぬんだ
He's a liar! He's gonna kill everybody! Everybody! He's gonna kill them all!
いやー弾けてるな。
Well, it seems you completely lost it,
で
huh?
もやっぱり人間の感情は面白いね。
But as I thought, humans do have pretty interesting emotions.
まあでも決まりは決まり。
But the results are the results.
それじゃさよならだよ白秋くん。
Well then, we'll be seeing you, Hakushu-kun. What he said. Dying without seeing your revenge carried out. Even if this is what I would look like in the future, I had no intention of stopping. I didn't need any sort of good fortune. All I needed were results. And, in order to get that, Oshioki, Oshioki! Okay. Hakushu-kun attended a very small school. And he was a normal student. Because he had a beautiful face and gorgeous pale skin, everyone said that he looked like he was an angel. And then one day, two devils arrived and began to hang around Hakushu-kun.
お具合はいかがですか白秋様。
Okay, so the spoken text says, "Oh, are you not feeling well, Hakushu-sama? These two devils wanted his heart. So,
な白秋様ったら
oh, Hakushu-sama. Okay. So they went out of their way to try and capture it. But they would never be able to get Hakushu-kun. The two angry devils did something horrible. They stole everything away from Hakushu-kun. Hakushu-kun, who had lost everything, began to hate the devils. And began to despair. Not despair, but be sad. However, even though they were devils, Hakushu-kun did not give up. He started to think that the only thing that he could do was become a devil himself. And that day, Hakushu-kun, who had become a devil, woke up and had been living in this world ever since. And that's when the election started.
楽しい楽しい選挙の時間だよ。
Oh, it's so fun, it's so fun, it's time for the election. In the election, Hakushu-kun was decided to present his desires to everyone. Okay. If what he wished would bring happiness to everyone, then Alice-chan would be able to grant it. Of course, it was only if everybody... Of course, if everyone didn't take his side, then he would be sent off, exiled off into the forest where the monsters lived. Hakushikun's wish was to live in a world where he punished the devils with his own hand.
僕は復讐を肯定する。傷には同じ傷を。
I agree with the idea of revenge. You should strike a scar in your opponent the way they scarred you. But in the end, he wasn't able to grab the evil devils by the tail. I know, I'm tired. I need to get to the end of this.
I am too. It's 11 o'clock.
I know, I'm tired. I still have to subtitle all of this. Okay. The two devils did not do anything to protect him. Therefore, or no one would protect him from the devils. Therefore, he was going to have to kill them himself. Ow, that was a really annoying buzzing noise. But what Hakushikun thought did not reach and touch the hearts of the others. Instead, the devils were seen as angels by everyone else. Execution, execution, execution. Alright. Hakushikun, who had become a devil himself, was exiled into the forest. And there he was released from the devils into a place that was so green and beautiful that it hurt. At that moment, Hakushikun realized that he didn't have any place to return home to, or any goal. And then, after a while, he left that place. And he began to walk toward the future.
とにかく水を探そう。
Well, for right now, I should at least find water. Or look for water. First, he went to go look for water. For Hakushikun, this was the most important thing. I'm just gonna walk in the mouth of this thing. Hakushikun continued to travel through the forest, and finally, he found a place to hide. Inside the dark cave, he could hear the sound of water running.
よかった。これで薬が飲める。
Dude, there's fucking teeth right there. What a relief. Alright, here I can finally drink my medicine.
Drink that spit.
The end. Yay, I got the monster trophy.
どうしてまだ俺はここに残ってるんだ。
I don't care. We're gonna find out later. Find out next week why he's still in the fucking space. Because I'm tired and I need to go to sleep. Alright, people, bye. See you next week. Bye. Stop laughing. Fuck you. I'm going to sleep. Bye, everybody.